just flipped to 6:30. So, it being 6:30, I will call the Board of Selectmen meeting to order. And the first order of business, because it's the first meeting after the newly elected members have been sworn in, is we need to do the election of officers and the appointment of selectmen reps to the different various committees. So I open the meeting being the chairman as of up to today. So now, if anybody has any motions.
I'd like to make a motion to leave Ben as the chairman. I second that.
All right, is there any other discussion on that? All those in favor?
Oh, I have a quick question.
Oh,
I'm just wondering if anyone else on the board has considered sitting as chair, just to offer some succession or some other opportunity. If not, I'm not going to force anyone else. I'm just wondering if anyone else has considered it.
I know in the past, Channing, because Channy's been, just for clarification and for information, Channy's been the vice chair for like many, many, many years.
Yeah.
And Channing has expressed that he has no problem being the vice chair, but he would rather not be the actual chair. He has no problem filling in for the few meetings that I haven't been able to make it to.
I mean, I gotta tell you, I feel very comfortable being a chair because I've been on the board before of being a vice chair. But I have no issue at all, and that you could stay, the chairperson, of the select board. I would kind of prefer that way. I'd like to get my feet wet a little bit before,
Yep.
but if things get out of hand, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know. I know, you're right. You're right there at the other end.
But, I wouldn't have an issue with being a chair because I feel comfortable about that, and I've communicated that to other people on this board. But I also respect the fact that you're here, and I would like to get my feet wet a little bit before I kind of take on that responsibility.
Completely understandable.
Thanks for the discussion.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries.
I'd like to nominate Teresa as vice chair. And the reason being, Teresa, you've been around. I'm having problems with my retina back of my eyes, and I'm losing my eyesight. That's why I don't want any of these committees right now. I'm running for surgery, so if it's all right with the board, I'd recommend Teresa to be the vice chair.
I'd second.
Are you sure? Are you okay with that? Because I would vote for you for vice.
I feel very confident in that decision, and I'm glad that you're able to make that decision for your own health and well-being, Chan. Any other discussion on that?
Does anybody else feel that they want to be vice chair?
I have plenty to do.
Huh?
I have plenty to do.
Well, All right.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. Opposed? None. Motion carries 4 with 1 abstention. All right. So the various committees we have. I guess I'll just start at the top of the list, and we'll do each committee one at a time. The first one is Budget Committee.
I'd like to make a motion to leave you on as the budget committee rep from the board of selectmen, Ben.
All right. Is there a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay. You can pick either Chan or Teresa. They both. And just for clarification, in case anybody wasn't aware, Dennis did let us know last week that because Lindsay sits on both the select board and school board, that it's not of it. That one position is not available to her.
I
So
wouldn't have, I
Right.
would have not.
I just
if
wanted
it
everybody
was.
else to know that
Yeah.
there was no other reasons why you weren't being considered other than it just legally can't happen.
Yep. Already gonna have both of those budgets, so.
Yeah. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries.
Just
Now-
real quick, while talking about the budget committee, so Teresa is actually going to have to resign her budget committee seat.
She did.
You did, and
She-
now the budget committee will meet and take interested candidates for that seat, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute, because we don't know that for a fact, because the existing budget committee, which is, there's only two of them, the vice chair, who now would call the meeting, hasn't decided what they're gonna do, because legally, they can appoint somebody, or they can put out interest forms. That's how I read the law. So
Right.
we, as a board, don't know what the budget committee is gonna do, so hopefully they'll act quickly. And you're now a representative, so.
My
I think it's-
recommendation was going to be, I was going to ask Carrie to actually email the budget committee and possibly put together a quick meeting
Yes.
of the
because
budget
that's what
committee
we did
in the
before.
near future.
But as I understand the law says the budget committee can appoint somebody. They don't have to put it out to the public, or they can put it out to interest forms and make the decision from that point on.
Right, yep. So Carrie, can you actually work on putting that email together tomorrow and see if we can set up some sort of meeting in the somewhat near future?
And the school board will meet tomorrow and will also be doing their committee meeting, their committee assignments as well, so.
Yep, so
That
by
board should be.
by
full.
tomorrow at the latest, we'll
Right.
have the select board and the school board reps for this year's budget committee, so,
Okay.
Yeah, that would be good.
yep. Yeah, it'd just be nice to tackle that now and
Yep.
get it done and over with. and-
Priority.
Right. The next one's planning board.
Respect, I'd like to resign my position on that board and put Lindsay in because of the same reason that I'm having problems with that. I don't want to be tying anybody down about them.
All right, so that's your motion is for Lindsay?
I second.
All right. Is there any other discussion on that?
My only other discussion is I would really like to sit on the red committee,
We'll
so.
put you on that too. so-
Oh, I'm sure you will.
We'll put you on that too, don't worry about it. I'll make a
Luck-
motion for that one.
Luckily, the planning board only meets once a month, unless it's something big going on, then maybe it ends up being twice a month, but planning boards doesn't meet very often, so.
Do you typically do backup?
What's
So,
that?
do you typically do a backup? Like who will be there if I couldn't attend?
Yeah,
Okay.
the last few years, I was the alternate selectman rep. So do you want to do an alternate in the same motion? All right,
Please.
okay. Do you guys still second that motion? All right, any other discussion on that? All right, all those in favor? Aye.
I'll abstain.
Opposed? None. Motion carries 4 with 1 abstention. Next is the Town Beach Committee. Last year, I was the rep on that. And I will do it again if the board wishes, or if somebody else would like to be on the Town Beach Committee.
I'll make a motion to leave you there on that committee.
Okay. Any other discussion on that, or was anybody else interested in it? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain from that one. Any opposed? None. Motion carries 4 with 1 abstention. Next is the Red Committee.
I make a motion when it be representative. Well, this, what I do.
I don't see anybody else jumping for that position, so all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries 4 with 1 abstention, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Yep. And the last one is the Historic District Commission, which is definitely a weird one because Mike is here. You guys aren't meeting at all, right?
No, Mr. Chairman.
No. So
Well, that's the one that I should have gone for. Now you tell me.
because of the way the town votes have gone over the last few years, you've seen warrant articles to abolish historic district and different things. We still have the committee. We just have no rules, regulations, guidelines, nothing for them to enforce. So we have to have a rep for it.
What's the purpose of the committee if there's
The
nothing?
town hasn't voted to abolish the committee,
Gotcha.
and it was put together by a town vote, so it would have to be
So it has
abolished.
to go on the warrant. It has to be a ballot
It
item?
would have to be a ballot item.
Gotcha.
So, would anybody like to be the rep for the Historic District Commission? Okay,
Yeah, sure.
okay. I'll second Channing for that one. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries.
Let me ask you, Ben, though, why isn't there a representative for the transfer station? I thought there was.
Well, it's not listed here, so.
There should be a selectman rep for the transfer station. We enter into a contract with them.
Yep.
Yeah, Ben and Chan were on that.
Right. It's not on the list that Jim sent up. So we'll address the transfer station committee now. Well,
Next one, what, once every 3 years?
No, it's like once a year they meet.
once a year, and basically we just, and complaints is what we call them, but yes.
I'll second it.
Is there any other discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carries 4-0 with one abstention. And the last one that's written here is the broadband committee.
Gloria Sapp.
Gloria was the selectman rep for that. Does anybody else have any interest in being on the broadband committee?
I would have said yes, but I'm not taking on more than 2
No,
committees.
I don't blame you one bit, because you're gonna have a bunch tomorrow night that you'll be on too, so.
Yep.
Teresa or James?
No, I'm gonna make a motion for this one down the end of the table, because he hasn't gotten on nothing. So I'm gonna make him to be the representative for the broadband.
Second.
You got that right.
Hopefully they never meet.
Oh, they meet by Zoom once a month, every other week.
All right, the motion was made and seconded for James to be the selectman rep on the broadband committee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries. I was waiting for him to oppose it.
I was waiting for him to oppose too.
That's all that's on the list. Was there any others that
I
anybody?
can't think of anything.
I
but
can't think
we
of
can
any
address it
either.
next week if there's something we missed.
Yeah, I can't think of any either, so if there is, we will address them when we figure them out. All right, so now that that's done with, before we go on to the rest of the agenda, I did unofficially welcome them last week before they were sworn in, but tonight they're now sworn in and sitting members, so I'd like to welcome Lindsay and Teresa to the select board.
Thank you.
All right, let's get into this. First, the next order of business is going to be to approve the minutes from last week's meeting, May 12th.
I'll make a motion to approve those. Second.
Is yours turned on or?
Yeah, it was working early,
Huh.
Anybody? Yours?
Mine's working.
No.
It's working now. There you go.
No, it was only halfway.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None?
Abstain.
And there's
Abstain.
2 abstain, because they weren't members at last week, so motion carries 3-0. Next, we have, it's really just, this is just an FYI, but I wanted to let the public know because we've discussed, getting a lot of feedback. We've discussed in multiple meetings doing the feasibility study on the handicap ramp at the town beach. So we did get that final architect and engineering report. It's just an FYI, it just shows the timeline for the grant stuff. So if anybody wanted to view that, it is done. Oh, next, we got an update from Mark Tigan with the Winchester Economic Development Corporation. He says, the WEDC recently signed a listing agreement with Coldwell Bankers Penny Saver a Parker Street resident. You'll soon see her activity, most notably an additional sign at the access road. I've asked her to coordinate closely with the town, mostly Margaret Shera, for permitting and other town issues. Today I also met with Beverly and Ray Robichaud, owners of the Winchester Sand and Gravel. They continue their relationship with New England Solar Garden and are keenly interested in our success that will also improve the uses and value of their acreage behind Stone Mountain Business Park. If you have any marketing leads or ideas, please share them with Penny. So, at least things are still slowly moving forward out there. Next, we have a permit for the raffle tickets for Santa's Helpers. The prize drawing date is May 22nd at the Winchester VFW. It's for meat bundles.
I'll make a motion to approve the raffle permit.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Next in here, we have, last week or 2 weeks ago, I can't remember, we had a lease agreement that was proposed to us from the, I can't remember what the name of the
Winchester
nonprofit.
Firemen's Association,
Okay.
wasn't that right?
Yep, right there at the top of the page. On the new truck that was donated to the Firefighters Association, and I had asked to please send it to legal because we've never signed the contract without the attorneys reviewing it. And the only thing the attorney came back with was there's a 20-year term of this lease. But there is a 60-day written termination period for the lease that comes up annually, right?
At any time.
Yeah. So it's a 20-year lease, but there is a way to, if there was ever an issue for some reason, there is a way to get out of the lease. But other than that, he was fine with it and said it was all good. And I don't know the exact dollar number, but I do know to add this to the town's insurance was very minimal, extremely minimal amount of money.
Okay, that's one of the questions. Sorry, Chen, do you want to go, bud?
Oh, that was, go ahead, Teresa.
All right, that was a question that I asked this afternoon to confirm, because when people hear the word lease, they think that it's monthly payments. It's not. It's
Right.
a lease, and basically, my understanding of this, if I sign that document, is if something happened with the truck, like mechanically, we're responsible to fix it and pay for it, correct?
Correct. I mean,
And where is that money gonna come out of?
the fire department budget, just like all
Okay.
the other fire apparatus.
Okay, so we've looked at the vehicle, and the vehicle's in good shape. We're not gonna like use it one time and the engine's gonna blow, correct?
No, it was inspected and
Chris Stedman is here if you have questions.
Oh, come on up. Who's this gentleman?
Chris Stedman is an attorney and also a firefighter here.
Oh, okay.
And I'm pretty sure. Yep.
I think you filled my pool one time, Chris, didn't you?
I may have.
Okay.
I may have helped you into your house after surgery.
All right, so can you answer that?
I can answer almost any question regarding the lease agreement.
Okay.
And there, accompanying that agreement, there should be a letter of intent from
Yep.
the Winchester Firefighters Association, which should explain it. But the lease is a 20-year lease, $1, 20 years.
Okay.
And there's either party can terminate the lease with 60 days written notice. So
At any time.
anytime.
And they come and get it if we decide to terminate it, right?
If the town decided to terminate it, then the truck would revert back to the Winchester Firefighters Association. It was-
Okay, so the only thing because I already asked about the insurance, the only other thing I want to hear from you is that the truck is in good working condition. We're not going to sign it and then find out that,
This truck is pristine. This has
Okay.
got 10,000 miles on it.
okay,
2007 truck configured for wildland brush fighting
cool.
capacity. They were offering it for sale for 110,000. We were able to get it down below that to 95. So this is a no-brainer here.
Okay,
Basically, the only reason for the lease is to show that it's a town-owned piece of equipment so that it can come on our insurance.
Yeah, the town will be responsible for everything, but they don't own the truck, just like you would with any other fleet lease vehicle, where you would be responsible for that. This truck is replacing a 65-year-old truck that is essentially the same deal. The town is currently paying the registration, paying the insurance, paying the maintenance, paying the fuel costs, paying for all of that stuff already with that truck. So you're just swapping a 10-year-old truck, is it 10 years old, for a 65-year-old truck.
okay. The town doesn't actually own it, the association owns it though, right?
The association will own this truck. The association is the leasor, and it's leasing it to the fire department, which, because it's a municipal fire department, is leasing it to the town.
Okay.
So I'd like to make a motion to accept this lease agreement as written with the one exception that we go with the automatic one-year renewal that the attorney recommended for us.
What?
That the town attorney recommended an automatic one-year renewal that either party could.
Well, right now, my understanding from what Ben said was that the town attorney said, okay, it's a 20-year lease, but was looking for an exit. So in the lease agreement, it specifically states that either party can terminate with 60 days written notice. So that can happen anytime. You can trigger that yearly. The original lease agreement that was drafted had an automatic renewal every year, but it got really wordy. So why bother? Let's just cut to the chase. $1, 20 years. If you want out, say we want out.
Yeah, I think the way it's worded now is we can get out anytime, but if there was the 1 year automatic renewal written in there, then we would only have a 60-day period once a year to terminate
Okay.
at the renewal time,
Well,
kind of like
you would
most
have-
other contracts.
As currently drafted, you have 60 days, whether you do it tomorrow if you approved it today, or a year from now, or 15 years from now. So I don't see the need for a yearly renewal, because then you just have to do this every year. But,
Well, it automatically, and that's the only reason is because the attorney recommended that. That's why I put that in there, that, he said we should have it automatically renew every year.
well, that language can be incorporated. It could say a 20-year lease which renews every year. I mean, that's a simple add-on, not a problem.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
But you could also run it by him as currently drafted to see, are you satisfied with the 60-day termination?
Well, that's what we had done, is we ran that by him as drafted, and that was his recommendation, so.
Well, I guess it's up to you. It's a recommendation. It's
Yeah.
not an order. And it's not a highly recommended, which is lawyer code for, you got to do it this way.
Yeah.
I'll second James' motion.
Well, I'll amend it to accept it as written.
And I'll second that.
Any other discussion on that?
How many pieces of equipment do we have a lease agreement on with the fire department? Is this the only one?
This would be the only lease agreement. Understand that the truck that this is replacing is under a current lease agreement. It's owned by the state of New Hampshire, and it's lent to the town, and when we no longer want it or use it, they take it back. So this is a piece of apparatus that has some issues and isn't necessarily the favorite one to take out, but when it's wanted to take out, we take it out. So we keep it going, but we have not, the fire department has not wanted to get rid of it because once we say we don't want it, the state comes in and takes it. So there's no value to the town after that. So it's been like, all right, let's just keep it alive. It's getting harder to find parts. I took a picture this morning of the truck bay where it lives, and I'll show you the oil slick that lives underneath it. So this would be the only vehicle under a lease, and you're essentially swapping one truck for another with the same agreement going on.
So Chris, at the end of the now as you stated, the truck we have currently is 65 years old. At the end of this 20 years, if this truck is still, you guys will release it? Okay. Yeah.
I would say, year 15, year 17, truck's still going good. We're not all, on hovercrafts or anything like that. But yeah, you just say, let's do the lease. The lease agreement states at any time we can come together and say, hey, this isn't working for us, and we can amend that. This is not written in stone. This is a collaborative effort to provide the town with a needed piece of equipment with as minimal burden to taxpayers as well as to you guys, having to make these decisions about where to spend and allocate money as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know if you guys were aware, Lindsay, you were probably at the meetings, but this truck was purchased with donated funds that were donated
Didn't cost a ton.
for the reasons of purchasing a piece of equipment to replace the truck that this is replacing. So this was completely donated funds. Any other discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. There's only a spot for one signature, so I will sign this.
Chris, what's your last name again, sir?
What's that?
What's your last name again?
Stedman, Steadman.
Thank you.
89 Backash Whalett Road, I think we're supposed to say where we live too, right?
Yeah, no, that's okay. I just wanted it for my notes.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
that is signed, and Carrie will reach out to you guys tomorrow to get the other signatures on it so that we can get copies put
20
wherever.
cents a piece now. I need a dollar.
See you, Steph.
Fresh out of change.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barry.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys.
That's why I was just gonna say that.
And definitely thank you again for another generous donation. That's the second donation the fire department's received. That was definitely very helpful to the department and the town.
Yes, thank you.
Next in here, Rick Molesky wanted to add to the agenda tonight that there's the water department's asset management presentation and outreach is on May 26th at 6:30 p.m. right here in the town hall. So I don't know if anybody else can make that.
That's at our next meeting, so we publicly have to just kind
Oh,
of.
it's going to be during our next meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
at 6:30. We have to
Okay.
do it for the grant.
Okay. Is this a public hearing or just a?
It's not a public hearing, it's a presentation. So we've
Okay.
already had the public hearing, and we've received the grant. The work is done, so now they have to come and show us what they did.
Okay, okay. Well, we'll all be here anyway.
You'll have our undivided attention.
Yep. And then there's also a notice in here from the water department, and I know Carrie did put it out on the town's website and their Facebook page. But next week, from May 24th to May 28th, between 7 a.m. and 3:30 p.m., the water department will be flushing fire hydrants. So there could be intermittent periods of low or no water pressure and periods of discolored water. But if anybody has any questions or concerns during that time period, they can still call and talk to Danielle with the water department or Rick, and they would be happy to answer any questions. I didn't read this before. We have, oh, this is that thing you talked about that the planning board
Yes,
tabled.
that we tabled.
So is the planning board still going to be taking action of some sort on this?
No, they're gonna leave it up to the board.
Okay,
We have to hire a surveyor.
Yep.
right.
The water
this-
department has to, it's for the new water tank.
Right,
To
this-
survey the property next to the water tank that the town owns,
Okay,
along with conservation.
I
Yep.
think,
So we want to hire Dick Drew, who does a lot of our work for us, to survey the property.
yep.
That is a contract with the work that he's going to do, so I need the board to agree and sign it.
I make a motion to approve that.
I'll
What was your
second that.
motion again?
I make a motion to approve the letter here of intent to have Dick Drew do the survey.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Again, this has only got room for one signature. And next, also because of being the first meeting with the new members, we need to let the New Hampshire Municipal Association know of who can use the authorized personnel to use them, which is always the 5 selectmen, the town administrator, town
Jim,
clerk,
Margaret.
Margaret, Amy. So I'm still fine with all the original users changing out the old select board members for the 2 new ones. Does anybody else have any
We have to have a motion on that.
questions? Or yeah, it's a contract we have to sign,
I'll
so.
make that a motion.
I'll second that.
Does you guys understand what that is all about? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries. Next, we have the MS 232, which is all the appropriations and everything that was voted on that needs to be signed to be submitted to the DRA. So we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept that.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries. Next, Dale, pretty sure this is Dale, yeah, this is Dale, there's a request in here. There you are. Todd's wearing his yellow shirt for work too, so I got confused for a second. Like, wait a minute, Dale grew hair. You want to explain this to us, Dale?
Is that the dump body? Is that what you got?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, we have a 2007 dump truck. The rear body is completely shot on it, just rotted right off from it. I had some estimates to try to fix it, and I had a $10,000 estimate to start on it. And then the guy called me up, he says, he says, I'm afraid to even say that and do it for that. He says, I think I'm gonna pass on it. He says, it's just too far gone. And had another guy look at it, said the same thing. He says he wouldn't even bother trying to fix it, drop a new body on the back of it.
Have you got money enough for that, Dick,
I do.
in your budget?
There's enough left in this budget here so that we don't have to take it out of the next year, July.
How much is it?
It's
$22,700. Have you gotten any other quotes besides HQ?
We've always dealt with Fairfield, EW Sleeper, and we dealt with Viking once up in Burlington. EW Sleeper's gone out of business, and Viking, they have nice equipment. It's probably equivalent to the Everest, but it's a 5-hour ride up there. Every time you need a piece or a part for it or anything, you know, it's a full day to drive up there and get it, or get it shipped down here, you know. It's just not real convenient being up in Burlington, Vermont.
Dale, that body will outlast the truck.
What's that?
Is that body gonna outlast the truck?
It'll last the truck for sure.
Oh, you want to see that?
That truck's in good shape, you know. The cab of it's good, frame's all good. It's well worth putting a new body on that truck, for sure.
Well, and you thought that you would, you know, continue to run this truck for 7 more years when we talked?
I expect it 10 more years.
10? So, I mean,
You got a 5-year lease on a loader now. When that's paid off, we got a 2000 truck that needs to be replaced before this one. So there's another 5, so there's 10 years right there.
Ben, I think that Amy provided some additional financial
Yeah, I
documentation.
just realized this goes with that.
Thank you.
I was just gonna mention. Now, I have no doubt whatsoever that Fairfield that they don't do a good job, because they do. We've dealt with them for a long time. However, just looking at the price of it, I do know our policy is to get bids. And I know that, you know, of one place that is still open that might bid it.
I can have Donovan bid it over in Londonderry. We don't like their equipment. Their equipment, it's not apples to apples.
Right.
It's not gonna be.
what about Osgood's in Claremont?
Osgood, same way.
Yeah,
It's not equivalent to that Everest stuff.
yeah.
That Everest equipment is proven equipment to us.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
this a live body? I meant to ask.
No, they're not live bodies.
No.
No, live body today's $40,000.
I was gonna say, they're right up there, so.
Yeah, we'd love to have them, but I don't wanna spend $40,000 for a body.
No.
We ain't gonna give you 40.
It's crazy what stuff is going for. It just get worse, and this Everest body now, it's a cross-memberless body. Okay, there's nothing underneath it. It rolls down the sides, come right underneath, and there's no cross arms to catch the salt, the dirt, and that's what rots out all the time. So it's a smooth body all the way around.
Okay. The budget that I got has you with just over 2% left till the end of the year. So the people need to know this, that actually, if we were to approve this cost, we're gonna take money out of other line items, like the landfill.
Yeah, it's bottom line. No, that landfill is a transfer. That's owed to the highway department for the work we've done out there throughout.
And that hasn't gone into the budget that I just got this morning?
That's going in this week.
Okay. And what about the diesel fuel reimbursement?
That's money coming back to the highway as well.
Okay. So, and the remaining amount that you have is $49,905. Plus the transfer from the landfill, the diesel fuel reimbursement, and the winter salt sand from the school is just over $1,300. So it would be a total of $61,696.
Yep.
And you're asking us to approve 22,000?
yeah.
2.7. There's 5 weeks left in this budget.
Right, because we also have to take into consideration the payroll, which is just over 22.
That's
but
all been
set.
removed. Yeah.
That's already been removed. I just want
Oh,
people in
okay,
the
okay.
pub-
I
I'm
see.
not questioning you
Okay,
in a negative way.
Sorry.
People need to know money's being transferred, coming in, and that we've actually put into effect that we've taken into account the 5 weeks that are left, the employees, pay is here and stuff like that. That's what I'm trying to
Okay.
get to. I know it sounds like I'm being adverse towards you. It's not that I'm doing that. It's just people
Yes, she
need to
is.
people need to know. And that's why we see these papers, but the people don't see these papers.
That's correct.
And it's called transparency. Did we make a motion for this, though?
Not yet.
No, there was no
And
motion.
I was gonna
No,
say,
I-
that's Dale's signature.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, give me this, because I ain't gonna sign that, baby, here. All right, thank you. You
Take that.
you need this back, too?
Yeah, they both came out of the folder.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion on that? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None, motion carries. They'll need to sign that. And then Dale, don't sit yet.
Oh, while you're up here, I want to thank you and your men and Chan Stevens and Paul Morehouse Senior for cleaning up that Elm Street property last week.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I wasn't part of it, I was out fishing.
Coincidental.
I was gonna say also, since you just mentioned that I see the lines were painted. and that's-
Partially.
Yeah, partially, but what's been done so far looks good.
We're out of paint,
Out of paint?
Nowhere
out
in
of
the
paint,
country is
and
there
there's
white
none in
paint.
the country.
No, it's the same with everything else right now.
There's no paint to be had.
All right, so Dale also has a request in here for calcium chloride. This is 2 truckloads, it's 7,200 gallons total. The total price is $9,000. And this is for use on our dirt roads. And last year we started, are you still gonna do what we started last year with trying to go a little bit heavier
Yes.
on the roads to make them hold up longer?
Yes, this is something that Jack and I had started back, a few years back, and really starting to put the chloride to these gravel roads to hold them. Now, it's $9,000, but if you read the bottom part, Ben,
Yeah.
we're gonna do, if I can get one load to get started on Spofford Road, and if we've had to use any other monies in the next 5 weeks, we'll hold off on the second load until July budget comes around.
Okay. Yeah, that
One
note
load-
must
one
be
load
on the
will
other
get us
paper,
going.
'cause I don't have it here.
I'll make a motion to approve the calcium chloride.
I'll second that.
Is there any other discussion or questions on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None, motion carries. That's all you have in here, right?
Another thing,
I think so.
somebody had, said there's some potholes. I think last year you tackled those potholes up there, just past Whitnall's on Old Chesterfield Road. I guess those have returned, and they were concerned. I don't know if you can,
Yeah, they're there. Mitchell notified me this afternoon, and they're planning on paving Coombs Bridge Monday. That money is in the block grant as well.
Yep.
That money's taken out of the block grant.
Block grant, yes.
Dale, the bridge over here, you plan on doing anything with that?
I'd like to. I've had the bridge people come down and look at it, and they go, leave it alone. You let the state deal with this. That deck is failing. That's
It
not-
is failing.
The deck is
Right now, there's
fluctuating.
holes in it like this, and
Oh,
everybody's,
I'm not, no, the underdeck, the
Yeah.
galvanized decking is going.
yeah, failing.
It's flexing, and that's what's breaking up the tar. So you can't just tear the tar off from it and repave it.
No, I just didn't know if you're gonna patch it for now.
Oh,
I know what you're saying, because I was
We'll
there.
patch it, we'll patch it,
I was there with the state, so I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
yeah. I'd rather than do it with cold patch, next time we get a little hot top on a truck, we'll put it in there.
That's all they're hauling about is the
Be a little bit longer.
filament.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dale. Next, we have I guess she has a question, but it's really an update from Amy. She had scheduled Worldwide Computer Solutions to come in to do the, move the internet connection, not move it, but install a new internet connection downstairs in the old, I think the last time it was used, it was the business office. And they had originally scheduled that to happen on May 27th, but unfortunately they had to reschedule it out to June 3rd. So just, she asked if that's okay with the board, but we can't really force somebody to, they rescheduled it
Yeah,
because of
it
problems they were having,
No,
so
we can do that.
can't really call them and tell them that.
Yeah. we
Why is the land use office moving downstairs? That's the reason for the internet, right?
Right, that's the reason for
So
the
why is the land use office moving downstairs?
board had voted maybe it started back in January.
Yeah, I was gonna say January somewhere.
There was a motion made back in January to move the land use office downstairs, but then at that time, they had decided to wait until March, because the beginning of the year is always a busy part of the year for everybody, so rather than trying to work in a moving of an office and all the busy work, it was waiting till March. And then once March came around and Amy was trying to make the appointment for the internet work and all that stuff, Worldwide was busy until May 27th, and now they've had something come up where they have to move their office that week, so they had to move it out to June 3rd before they can come in.
So what happened in January to make the move for the land use office to be downstairs? That still didn't really
That's
answer the...
non-public. It's a
That has
non-public
nothing to do with non-public, Jamie.
Yes, it
What-
does.
No, that was done out here on the floor. That wasn't done in non-public, but
Yeah,
there was,
but I mean-
there was no,
Our reason.
there
Your
was a
reasoning,
motion.
unless it's specific to personnel, is not a non-public.
Right, no, that's what I just said. That's why I just said it wasn't done in non-public. It was done out here on the floor. And, there was no, there wasn't actually a lot of talk about it. There was just a motion was made to move, because originally there was a motion made to move a few of the offices around. And then in March, when it was revisited to do the move, it was decided then to just move the one office downstairs for now.
Why?
Yeah, are we moving offices just because we can, or is there an efficiency component? I mean, as I understand right now, that office has 2 people in it. And so if one person isn't there permanently, what does that leave our only other person who's in that office? So if she steps away to use the restroom, and there's nobody else there to answer a question,
Who's supposed to be in there if the assessing goes downstairs?
The assessing's not going downstairs.
Which one is going downstairs?
Land use.
Okay, so why is the land use going downstairs? What's gonna go in that office with Kerry right now?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Clean it up,
Land use.
paint it, put a new rug.
Who's gonna answer phones when Kerry needs to be away from the desk?
She has an
I
earphone.
had recused myself from that vote, so,
Amy's upstairs, Ricky, and then in the past, when somebody's been gone, one of the girls will come down or I guess they leave a window open.
I'm not okay with that.
I mean, I understand that this current board can't, because we're different personnel, but there doesn't seem to have been a good reason for that move, but yet we're going to take the time and effort to pack that office all up and move it someplace else, which just seems to be detrimental to the
It
overall
was there
flow.
once.
It's putting it
It
back
was
down where it
before.
was and getting land use in closer to the building inspector is the reason the motion was made,
Okay.
to get those two
Work
that work
together.
together in adjacent offices.
but that was their FYI as far as why Worldwide had to reschedule that date. Last thing in this folder is a firework
We didn't
permit.
make a motion for anything like that.
There was nothing we could do. It was
No,
just a
there's no
notice.
motion to be made on that. That was just an FYI for, that Worldwide had to reschedule the date that was originally set up.
Well, I'm gonna look into the fact of making a motion to reconsider. I don't think I can do it because I wasn't on the board, but I guess I want more information as to why the move is being made and why I'm gonna leave somebody from upstairs to come downstairs and answer phones. If it's not broken, why are we fixing it? It's not broken.
So we have this one fireworks permit for May 4th. Oh wait, no, for May 29th, from 8:30 p.m. And we usually put a cutoff time of 11, right, Carrie?
Correct.
So I will just recommend that we add the cutoff time of 11. It's been signed off on by the police department, but not the fire department.
Fire, the email behind it is the backup approving it.
But Barry approved it, right?
Correct.
Okay, yep. Okay, so it is,
I'll make a motion to approve that permit pending the fire danger at the time.
any other discussion on that?
Because it comes up quite frequently where people are shooting off fireworks either without a permit or outside of the appropriate times that they've been permitted for, do the police actually follow up and ensure that nobody is setting off their fireworks after the 11 p.m. timeframe?
They do, the police department, along with actually Carrie posted on the town website, but everybody gets a list of who has permits and their time frames with the address and everything. So and the police do attempt to monitor, because as we all know, there's definitely a lot of people that fire them off without permits. And the police do their best to try to monitor that, but it's hard to be in multiple spots at one time, especially around the 4th of July. But they do pay attention to the list of approved permits and make sure that they're acting within their rights. And for this one, where there is the motion includes a stipulation of, depending on the fire danger at that time, the police department will will be contacting the fire department for the date of this permit, and if for some reason the fire danger is still high, then they would be notifying the person that gets the permit that they cannot light them off.
And then Carrie, a list of who has permits is listed online?
Yeah, I put them on the website.
Where? Like on the main page?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I get asked that question, so I'm
Yeah.
just asking.
Yeah, and a lot of times, sorry Barry, hang on one second. A lot of times, Carrie will leave a copy in her office too. So if anybody comes in and wants to see who has permits, that's all right there. That's all public knowledge.
You just didn't give the address, I need to, sorry.
Didn't give the address?
Yes.
The address was for 253 Back Ash Willet Road. All right, a motion was made and seconded.
Who seconded? I didn't catch that.
Channy did. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Barry, while you're right here tonight, maybe after you can just sign that real quick so it's all official. And that's all I have in the folder. So, I don't have any other business. Does anybody else from the board have anything?
I wanted to bring up those, Carrie, those 79Es. Do we have to get Avatar to come back and revisit those? Because there were 4 that are supposed to come off.
They did.
They did?
Yeah,
Okay.
she was here 2 weeks ago and I gave her the list.
Okay.
They've been removed.
So they let us know, or the new assessments, or that's nothing to do?
I'm in charge of telling them what that needs to be done on each
Okay.
property, and they remove it, and then it will reflect in the next bill.
Okay. And the other thing, what do we have, 1 week left for the volunteer,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, the volunteer interest forms for the committee to work on hiring a police chief. Those are due by next Wednesday, and what we'll end up doing, it's what we usually do when we get volunteer interest, is they're due by next Wednesday, but we're not gonna act on them next Wednesday. Usually I give a week for the board to be able to review them, because I don't like acting on things immediately. I want to be able to review them myself. So next week, when we discuss it, it'll just be that we'll review them for a week, and the following week we'll make a decision on who we feel should be on that committee. We'll have a discussion on it and make those decisions the following week.
Yeah, because I got to tell you, when I was in the audience listening, because I've been thinking about it for a couple of months, because people have brought it up to me, not in the meeting, about this particular situation. And I actually have been seriously thinking about 5 people that I would automatically ask to be on the board or on that committee. And I think that those people really are a diversified group of individuals from this town that would be really good. And one of the things that you guys we need to consider and really think about this situation is that I've been on plenty of boards to hire police chiefs in Cheshire County or to police officers. And they've been really, really professionally run boards or committees. And I think if we decide to go with committee people and Board of Selectmen, got to get together, and everybody, all candidates should be asked the same questions. And it should be, there's a form out there that they use, and each individual committee member actually sits on a board like this, and the candidate's there, and they give them that person, there's different criteria, and you give a number. 5 is the highest, 1 is, the lowest. And then at the end, they take all the candidates that they interviewed, and they sit and they calculate who's got the highest votes. One of the things you guys need to be considering, because I can see it happening right now, is that you guys are forming a committee, and what you need to think about this. What if that committee unanimously says, we want candidate number 1? And then they bring it to this board, and this board says, we don't want candidate number 1. I'll tell you one thing, if a committee comes to me and they unanimously vote out of the 7 people that have applied that they're gonna pick candidate number 2, and all 5 of them say this is the best candidate, I'm gonna be voting for what the committee has recommended.
Right, and
that's what you guys need to look at, because I can see it now. You're looking at candidates and applications, and you've got in your own mind, okay, candidate number 6 looks the best. But what if your committee unanimously votes candidate number 2 is the best? So you better be ready to follow that committee's recommendation, especially if it's a unanimous decision.
Right, what we had discussed before was forming this committee to give us their recommendations on which applicants, and we didn't discuss whether it was going to be the top 2, top 3, the top 1, however many, we would be sending through to MRI.
Right.
To have MRI do their background and their
Well, they can be
interview
doing the
process.
background check.
I think Teresa's point is if we're going to follow a committee, then everybody needs to be on board that the committee is where we're going to take our direction.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
They need to
Any
tell
committee.
me, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how I'm looking at it.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you, anybody who comes up and asks me, I've already thought, and I think it should be like 5 people, not like 7 or 9. You're going to get 9 people to vote the same. 3 to 5 people you do. I got 5 people right now in mind that I think would be excellent choices, and they're not my friends. They're not, it's from town employees to social people that are social workers. It's a police officers or a deputy sheriff that's in the town, lived in the town all their lives. These are the people that diversify, that have a diversified view and can really make a great recommendation for a chief of police. It's
Right.
not something that we need to rush into, but at the same token, I'm not gonna have people that are controversy or yelling and screaming and disrespectful be on a committee. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, no, I agree with
I
you.
agree with that.
Yeah, you know.
I've been on with you, I know.
Huh?
I've been on committees.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
mean, it is
Yeah.
gonna be professional. The
Oh, yeah.
committee is gonna be professionally, they're gonna look that way, they're gonna have the candidates come in, look like that way. Because it sends a clear message to the candidates
Right,
that this is the way this town is gonna be run, and we want you to look professional, and we want community policing done. I gotta tell you, I'm passionate about this.
oh yeah,
I'm passionate about this.
yeah,
I didn't work here for 20 years as a police officer to see it deteriorate.
no, not at all. We all want to see it succeed.
I'm really passionate
Yeah,
about this.
no,
And I've sat
that's-
and listened for weeks about this
Right,
and
Yeah.
haven't said nothing.
yep,
But now I'm gonna start saying stuff about it.
that's all right. You're right.
Oh, you need, just make sure those 5 people fill out the volunteer request form.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask them to do that, you know, I'm gonna ask people to do that, you know, and, you know, I'll tell you who the 5 people are if they write down the application. I'm not trying to hide the 5 people that I would choose. I'm very open about that. If somebody from here came and asked me right now, I'd be able to tell you the 5. I've been thinking about it for months.
Yep. No, so
And that's
that'll,
not one more week for that, Teresa.
yep,
Yeah, I'm gonna grab a couple.
yep.
I'm gonna also make some suggestions to people for the budget committee too.
Yeah, and at any time, I know we've mentioned it before, but just so everybody's aware, at any time that there's volunteer and trust forms out for anything that the town does, they're available at the town hall, or they can be printed right off from the town website.
Internet, right.
Yeah,
I seen that, I
Yeah.
saw those.
so just so anybody's clear on how they can get those, there are a couple different ways to get them. Anybody else from the board have anything else?
Oh, yes. First, I wanted to say, I understand that this week is EMS Appreciation Week, and so I wanted to shout out to our local ambulance and emergency responders. I know that they've been working really hard. They've had some recent promotions internally, and I just wanted to shout out some appreciation to them. I think we should do it all the time, but this just happened to be the week, so I'll say that. Now that the budget is approved, the town had multiple articles on this most recent ballot for capital plans. And so I'm starting now because we are going to be coming into budget season again right around the corner. And I was hoping that our department heads could come perhaps to the first meeting of the month in June as we round out that last month of budget, and we could start having conversations about what some of their long-term needs are for some of those monies that are going into the capital plan. We approved a lot of money to go into a lot of capital plans without any plan. So I think it's important
Well,
that
they're not called capital plans, they're capital
Capital
reserve
reserves.
accounts.
we have a lot of capital reserves
Right.
without a lot of capital plans.
Right,
So it doesn't seem to be a practice of the select board, but I'm wondering if we've ever had a conversation about having department heads present, once a month to go over their budget, where they are in their current projects, what they might need in terms of equipment. I know we hear from Rick pretty frequently, which is wonderful, and I know that we hear from Dale when we ask him to come in, but it might be nice to have some consistency with that. So I'm putting some of these ideas out there, and I'll bring them back for additional motions. I had a question about the sidewalk machine, the snow blower machine that was broken last year. And I haven't really heard anything else about whether it's been fixed, repaired, if we have one coming into the next winter. And Dale, I just want you to know, I'm not putting you on the spot. You have every opportunity to answer another time.
No, it's all back in order and running. We put a new engine in it.
Okay. So it has a new engine, and you anticipate no issues with it coming up? I mean, I know, I'm just,
I don't
Yeah,
like to answer that.
we made motions to approve that expense on the engine.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a few weeks of conversations because,
I remember the few weeks of conversations, but I missed that there was a motion to replace the motor, so
Yeah.
thank you for the
That was the
engine.
sidewalks, you know.
We looked at all angles of buying a used one or fixing this one, and we knew we weren't buying a new one.
Yeah.
And after looking at the used ones, I made some road trips, went and looked at them, and I walk around it and start it up, and I go, well, this thing's no better than what we have if
Yeah.
we just put a new motor in ours. We know what we had. You know, we know what new parts it had, and it just made sense to put a new motor in it.
Good deal.
and at the time that the motor was put in, we did ask Porters to please go through it fairly thoroughly, and let us know if there was any other major issues, and he came back with nothing. He did fix a couple of extra things while he was in there putting the motor in, but it's in pretty good running order now.
Perfect.
I don't want to say great, because it's still a very old piece of equipment,
It's
but
still 20 years
Well,
old.
I would anticipate that when Dale is thinking about his capital plan for what equipment might be coming up in the future, that would be one that you'd probably put on there. Because at some point in the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to need a lot more than a new engine, and we need to be in a position to purchase one so that our residents aren't trying to shovel through the snow that's not their responsibility, really.
Yeah, well, I think the next piece of equipment will be a truck. That truck will be 25 years old when the loader's paid up, so that'll probably be the next piece.
It sounds like you already have a list. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Yeah, we know what order it needs to go, but
I recognize that you might know, and perhaps people independently know,
Yeah.
but it's important that everybody is
no, I
aware.
understand. I understand what you're saying.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
All right.
I almost said thank, yes, that was, appreciate it. I had asked this question before, and so I have a follow-up on it. We recently appointed a new welfare officer and a new deputy welfare officer, and I'm concerned that that was not done appropriately. So for instance, did we post that position as for interested parties who might want to be the welfare officer or deputy welfare officer?
no, just like as Teresa stated earlier with the budget committee, any appointments that the board or a committee like the budget committee would make by law don't have to be posted.
So the welfare officer and the deputy welfare officer don't have to be posted.
No.
Did you make a formal announcement that you were changing them?
That we are changing them?
Yeah,
No.
I think moving.
Well, there was a formal announcement that we had hired originally the welfare officer and then the deputy welfare officer.
Yeah, I did see that, but,
Yeah.
moving forward, in the effort of being transparent, if you're going to do something, even if it's within your legal purview to do, you should still be saying something at this table. I have a question about the police department. What is our current police department structure?
Well, we discussed it a few times, but
Well, there's something in
Jim-
that non-public folder that I don't believe is fully non-public, so I'm giving you an opportunity to discuss it.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. We haven't done much in non-public. Oh, yeah, the one that's in non-public for tonight?
Yes.
Yeah, that is non-public. It has names involved with it.
Well, the names are specific to salary, correct, which we won't discuss in public.
Any names, anytime we discuss anything with a name attached to it, it's non-public by RSA.
I know you say that out of habit, but I'm very familiar with the RSA.
No, I don't say that a habit. I'm very familiar with the RSA too. I've attended
So-
multiple trainings on the RSAs.
In that folder, there is a discussion about eliminating a position.
No, that discussion was actually had quite a while ago, and that was decided to do. What's in the folder is a correction from, and I'm trying to figure out a way to discuss something non-public and public that you're bringing up. There was a discussion 3 weeks ago, and there was a correction that had to be made on the discussion.
There was a discussion in non-public 3 weeks ago about salary, and now it has to be corrected.
Correct.
Okay. That doesn't answer the question of how many positions and the fact that it seems that we're accommodating for those salary increases by taking out a position in our police force.
What we have for positions right now, I believe, and I wish Jim was still here to correct me, because I don't have the paperwork in front of me, but I believe it's 8 officers.
So let's see, the budget shows police officer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 full-time officers were budgeted for in this is the current, correct, Teresa? Yeah.
Yes.
2021. As a member of the budget committee, I don't recall any change being presented to the next budget, so I will assume that it remains 5 full-time. There's a lieutenant, a detective, and then 4 part-time officers. Then we have the police chief and the administrative assistant and the part-time admin assistant that both fall under that, what I would call the police staffing.
Correct.
It's 5, you just said 5 full-time officers.
Correct.
Yep?
So is the lieutenant one of those officers?
No.
No, those
So
are,
the lieutenant, detective, 4 part-time officers, and the chief aren't included in those 5.
Correct.
So basically, you have 8 full-time officers and 4 part-time. Because you have the chief
Yes.
is full-time, you have the detective and the lieutenant is full-time, that's 3 and 5, so you have 8 full-time police officers and 4 part-time.
Correct.
I just wanted to confirm, so go ahead with your question.
So I guess my question is, are we eliminating that lieutenant position? Why? And has that conversation, happened? I guess I'm a little concerned that we're in the middle of trying to hire a new police chief, and at the same time you're hiring a police chief, you're also changing how their department looks. Maybe without gaining enough knowledge or information that we should be eliminating or changing or adding, for that matter. So is your intent to eliminate the lieutenant position in order to accommodate your additional salaries?
no, we have a lieutenant. What was eliminated was one of the full-time police officer positions that's in the budget that hasn't been used in quite a while, and it was found, it was explained to us in quite a few recent meetings that it was felt that it was unneeded, that other position, because they haven't had it staffed in quite a while.
Wait a minute, to me, who felt that?
And what meetings?
Again, we're talking about names that was all done in non-public, so I'm trying to very carefully skirt around the law.
officer of the police department?
Your officer in charge should be known to be the officer in charge. I think you can use the officer in charge's name,
Correct.
just like you would use Chief
But
Gillette's name.
When we had those discussions, there was many names brought up, so the discussions were done in non-public. So I'm trying to explain to you that we had many discussions on it. They were all done in non-public, so I can't discuss them, what happened in public. I will in non-public with no problem. I will not break that law. However, it's been many years since that position has been utilized, and it was continued to be budgeted for, in case we needed another full-time officer, but there wasn't somebody in it for quite a while.
I'm just gonna say this how it's been said to me. So you padded the budget by an additional employee when you knew you didn't need that staff?
Wait a minute, I still don't understand.
So you basically, so we just went through budget season. There was
Correct.
not a single mention throughout that entire process that we might be overstaffed in our police needs.
No,
But
we
you
weren't,
just-
we
you
weren't
just-
overstaffed.
But now we don't need that position.
Our staffing numbers has been good, has been great. That position hasn't been staffed in quite a while. So that position that was budgeted for hasn't been staffed. So we decided, that's when it was decided to do away with that position.
Okay.
Where did the money go then that was,
That's what Lindsay was just talking about. Our intentions were, some of the money was intended to stay there in case we needed to, in hiring a new police chief, if we needed to address the pay for the police chief position. And then some of the money was used to